Hello again, class. This video is going to help you through adding some information to your Google Site portfolio. So this is the assignment that is for week 1, and it's going to add some information to your introduction page, your standards page, and your EdTech toolkit page. So what I'm going to do is show you how to add some things, and then I will give you a model of what your portfolio should look like when you're done. That way you have a model of exactly roughly what it should look like. Again, I want you to put your own twist on it, but at least you'll be able to see an idea of what we're looking for. So first thing I'm going to do is get to the home page. And hopefully you know how to get back to your site. It's the link that you have created for your Google site. Otherwise, you can just Google Google Sites again. And when you click on sign in, it should recognize that you're logged into Google and take you right to your site. So if you have trouble finding your Google site, just contact me, your instructor, and I will help you find it. Okay, so let's jump right in. What I have here is a little bit of a model of the portfolio site, the introduction. And when you look at your assignment, it's going to ask you to pull in a picture, and it doesn't have to be a professional picture. You can see I did mine with my camera, and then set yourself up with a nice little introduction about yourself. Now, I didn't do an introduction about myself. I just put the guiding questions here because I want you to create your own. But ideally, you would write in paragraph format in this section about yourself, and assume that the people looking at this page would be maybe potential employers, your colleagues, maybe people in your network. So as far as the picture, you want to have something that's nice looking, doesn't have to be a professional photo, but you want to stay away from photos of you on spring break or in a wedding reception, in a group picture, maybe in clothes that you would wear out, maybe to the beach or to a club, but not necessarily to work. So, you know, common sense guidelines on what kind of picture you want to do. Headshots are usually the best. So you can do that. And I'm going to show you how I created this page. As we did in the last video, first thing I wanted to do was add my picture. And so to do that, I just went to images and upload. And what I did was I put my favorite image on my desktop. I have it handy anyways, but you might want to save a photo to your desktop, and that way you can find it very easily. But I have one handy, and there's the one that I have. And so I can add that picture. So it automatically just places it to the farthest left. And as far as this text, all I did to create that was add a text box. And it's going to put it separately and not side by side by the picture. And so this is what I wanted to show you. If you want to move the whole thing, you grab these little 8 little dots. I don't know if you can see that. These 8 little dots right here. You can grab that and you can move it, but it moves the whole thing in a line. And that's fine if you want to move things up and down. But in this case, I want to put it side by side. So what I'm going to do, instead of clicking these little dots, what I'm going to do is click inside and I get these handles. Once you see the handles, I can move till I see the 4 arrows, and then I can drag just that piece down, and you can see it automatically kind of clips to these little vertical lines. So your text box is side by side. That way, when I type in the box, it is side by side. And then you can just type however you want it here. You can do paragraphs, you can do bullet points, links, things like that. So that's very easy for that first page. You can also change a little bit of the backgrounds. Now, again, I don't recommend doing a whole lot of this, but if you wanted to put a little shading back there, you can do that. through the background page, going with your color themes. Again, this would be a little bit much on the pink for me, but the contrast is good. And I could put an image if I wanted to upload an image for the whole background. So I'm going to put mine just to maybe a little bit of shading back here, which is fine. And then since I have two of them here, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate the one or remove the ones that I just added. So I'm going to remove this picture and I'm going to click in here and I can see the little trash can. I can remove that. So when you're done, you should have something similar to this with a picture. And again, you can put it on either side. I can move the picture over if I want. I can put it back. Generally side by side looks good, but if you don't like that, you can make it bigger. I can move it around. If I want to take the picture back out, I just double click in until I get the handles of the picture. And I can move it back around. So that's how you upload images and move some things around within the page. The other piece is if you want to search for an image, let's say you're searching for, again, like we did for our header, the portfolio, or you want to search for something that's technology or something else, just to make your site look nice, there is a select button, and that takes you back to that section that we did in the first Google Sites video, in which I can look on my Google Drive by URL. I could search using Google Images, or I could go to my photos. So that's the first page. The second page is going to be a little bit tricky, but once you do the first one, it should be rather easy. We're going to download the standards that we talked about in Articulate in our module. The second page is our standards page. And what we're going to do here is we're going to add the standards for ISTE standards for students and ISTE standards for educators, and then also the Common Core standards that would apply to us personally and the grade level and subject that we plan on teaching. So it sounds a little bit complicated, but it's really not. Once you figure out how to download the documents and get them into your Google Drive, bringing them in here is actually rather easy. So you're just going to do that a few times on this page. So it shouldn't take you too long, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So in the module that you went through and reviewed for week 1, there was a lesson called Technology Standards for Students and Educators, and you learned all about the ISTE standards. So after you went through the ISTE standards, there was a place in which you could download the ISTE standards for educators and the ISTE standards for students. And the way that you do that in the module is to click the download button. And what happens is you get a PDF of the standards. So all you're going to do, the same thing, is you're going to save this. I'm going to get rid of this little box. And you're going to click this little download. So you're actually downloading twice. So you're going to download again. And again, I just set up a folder on my desktop called EDU 120. So that's the number of this course. And you can just place documents in there, as we're going to be doing these kind of things a lot. So I'm going to save to there. And I'm done with that document, so I can close it. And then I'm going to go back to the module, and here's the ISTE standards for students. So I'm going to download once, get rid of this little box, and I'm going to download again. And it should go back to the same desktop folder that I had, so I can just save again. So I can get out of that. So pretty easy so far, right? So the next thing we're going to do is the Common Core standards. So this is a little trickier. So what you need to do is look at in your module as to how many you need to download. So if you're in elementary, K through 5, you're going to download the standards for English, social studies, math, and science. So I'll have a total of 4 Common Core documents that I need to download. If you're in middle school or high school, you really need to decide what subject you want to teach, or subjects, so it could be more than one. So maybe you want to do English and science, that's fine. Then you would have 2 if you're going to be English and science. And you're going to look by grade level and subject. So again, if you're high school and you want to do art and music, then you would find those standards on the website we're going to go to and download those. So I hope that makes sense. So the Common Core standards can be found at this website. So you just simply click. And in the video you did in the module, we talked all about these standards and how you find them. So I'm going to assume that I'm going to do first grade, because that's the most that you have to download. So I'm going to first go to first grade. And I'm going to go with, let's go with, well, since we are first grade, we have 4 of them to download. So we have to download the English Language Arts. And if you remember, there's the Ohio Learning Standards link. So I'm going to click to that. And now that I'm on the page, I just have to scroll down and find the actual standards. So here is the Ohio Learning Standards for English Language. And it should come up with Ohio in the middle. That's how you know that you have the correct standards. So again, we just have a PDF. So what are we going to do? We're going to do the same download process we did for the ISTE standards, or the International Society for Technology and Education. So we're going to download. Should come back up to the folder that I had, the EDU 120. If not, just find the folder again. I'm going to save. And then I can go ahead and close that one. And I can close this one as well. So let's go back to our list. We're going to go first grade again. And I did English language. So we have English, we have math. So let me go to the math standards. And here's the Ohio Learning Standards for math. And so all I need to do is find these standards on the page. And so we're going to go with this one right here. So you just have to find the right ones. And again, you should come up with one that says Ohio. So I know that's the correct one. I'm going to download and save. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly do the other 2 for this particular one. So I've got to go to science. And then my last one is going to be social studies. I can go right to social studies, click on our standards. The trickiest part is finding it on the website. Okay, so we've got all our documents. And again, if you're not early childhood, K through 5, then you would download just the subjects and the grade level that apply to you. If you are something other than the standards that are shown here, pick a grade level that's close. Again, we're going to use them more about how to look at standards and beginning to look at how to apply them when we are developing projects. So if you're early childhood education, which is pre-K, click the kindergarten. Again, we're using it just more for emphasis. Okay, so we don't need that anymore. So we've got all the ones that we need, and we're going to go back to our portfolio. And the way that we're going to do this is you need to go to your Google Drive. So if you click a new tab, and you're using the Google browser, which you should always do, if you click your little apps here, you should have a Google Drive. So when I go to my Google Drive, I'm going to click New. And when I do New, I'm going to File Upload. And when I upload, I want to find that folder that I created on my desktop for EDU 120. So what's nice is if I get them all in a folder, I can click the first one, click the last one, and click Open. And it should upload all 5 of them at the same time. So that's nice and easy. And you can see them all coming in over here. Okay, so now that we have them in our Google Drive, we want to put them in a folder. So we're going to create a new folder. And if you look here, the very first one is folder. And we're going to call this EDU 120. Now this is important that you put everything in a folder because we have to give rights to view the documents. And if you put them all in the folder and give view rights to me, then I won't have any trouble being able to grade your work. So we're going to create this folder. And here's my folder right here. So EDU 120. And what I'm going to do is go to my recent file. And I'm simply going to move each of these. So if I click on the first one, I can right click and I can move to a folder on my drive, and there's 120, and I can move. Go to the second one, move to my drive, 120, and just repeat until you get all of them. And there are faster ways to do this. I'm just showing you the easiest way so everyone can stay with us here. There's not that many, so. And my last, nope, I got one more after that. 2. You have to click on this little arrow over here to actually make it do something. And then we're going to move. And then our last one, we're going to move that as well. And there you go. So everything's moved into our folder. So I'm going to go back to my folder in my drive. So here's EDU 120. We want to right click and we want to share. So again, this is important that you share with me. This is my Google email, but I want you to share with me my Owens email. So in that case, please make sure you share MICHELLE_ARBOGAST@owens.edu. And so once you share with me, then I can interact with your portfolio. And it'll notify me and tell me that you want to share with me, which is perfect. Great. Okay, so now we got everything in there. We're going to go back and finish this page on our portfolio. So here we go. We are going to add our standards to the portfolio. Okay, so now we're back on the standards page. We want to bring those documents into our standards page so we can refer to them anytime that we need to without having to go look them up again. The way to do that is to click on your Google Drive icon, which is right here under the insert page. So if you're not on that, click insert and Google Drive. And we want to go to most recent. So we have my drive, shared with me, and most recent. Because we just downloaded these, all of these documents will be right at our fingertips under recent. So click the first one and you'll see down here it says one selected. Hold down your control key and click again to get more of them. So I'm going to bring them all in at the same time. So I see I have 6 selected and I'm going to insert them. It's going to give me some crazy looks. Okay, so it brought all of them in. So now we want to organize this page just a little bit. So to do that, we're going to put in some headings. So let's go to text box, and it's going to add this text box, and we're going to call one ISTE standards for educators. And we're going to make this a heading. Okay, and let's do that again. We're going to call this ISTE standards for students. And again, we're going to make that a header or a heading. And then we got one more heading. This would be the Ohio Common Core Standards. And yep, we're going to make that a heading too. Okay, so now we just have to move things around. I generally put the ISTE standards first, but again, I don't care how you put them in order, just so they're in some sort of order that makes sense. So this time, instead of moving just this piece, we're going to move the whole heading. And I'm going to start with ISTE for educators. So I'm going to move that, and you just drag it up and it'll slowly scroll up there. I'm going to put it right there. So now I just need my ISTE standards for educators. So I'm going to click on that, and there's those 8 little dots right there. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to put it right there. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same and just move these around so they make some sort of sense. I'm going to move up my student one. Find it, move it up. Oops, went too far. Okay, and then for the Ohio standards, I can do something a little different with that, and I'm going to move that up. So it should go right here. And there's 4 of them, and you got to scroll down a bunch. So I'm just going to move one of them over here. And it just kind of makes it nice and clean. Again, you don't have to, but that looks good. And you should always publish. Publish is like saving. So make sure you publish since you did all this work downloading. And it's going to show you a before and after. So as you can see, I've got what was here, what's currently out there, and then what I want it to look like. So we just have to finish our EdTech toolkit. And what we're going to do here is we're going to add the fact that we learned how to use a journaling technology, which was Blogger. And we're going to just make note of what that is and why we used it. So to do this, your instructions say to create a heading, and we know how to do that now. So just text box, journaling technology, and we know to make that a heading. And we also then need to put in the hyperlink for Blogger. And the way that we do that is we're going to just put another text box, and we're going to, and you could label it however you want. I generally say, technology name is blogger.com. And to get to the website for blogger.com, you're going to highlight the words that you want to make a link to. And you're going to click on this little link right here that says to insert a link. And what we're going to do is insert a link. So you can link to something else in this site, or you can type in a link. And in this case, we're not going to copy paste in the link because it'll take you right to your blog. We're just going to type in http://blogger.com, and we're going to apply that. So now we have a hyperlink to blogger.com, and I'm going to just put a couple spaces in there. These are your instructions. In a short paragraph, explain the definition and purpose of blogs and at least 3 benefits from using them in the classroom. So you can find this information just through some simple Googling on the internet, and you can look up benefits of blogs, you can look up how they're used in class, and find out why students are using them, why teachers think that they're a good tool, and simply write a paragraph or 2 about blogging. You can also expand to say a little more about journaling type technology. So if you find other technology while you're looking up blogging, you certainly can add that to it as well. This is your page. All I want to see is the fact that you have the blogger.com here, and the fact that you have included a short paragraph. And the very last piece that I want you to do is go ahead and publish. And then I want you to take a peek at your published website. This is what you're seeing here is in edit mode. So we're going to copy that link. And certain things aren't going to work until you look at the site as people would see it. So when we're looking at the standards, for example, nothing happens when I click on these standards right now. So nothing really happens. You can kind of see them, but I want to show you what it actually does when you go to the website. So if you open a new tab and paste in, Control V is paste, the link that you just got, and I go to standards, give them a second to pop in. If I click on this little pop out, it will actually bring up a larger version of the actual standards. So what I want you to do is, while you pop these up, I want you to look at the ISTE standards and see which standards would be met, and give me at least 2 from the ISTE standards for educators and then the ISTE standards for students. Give me at least 2 that journaling or the journaling technology would accomplish. So what could you use journaling technology to accomplish? So it could be learner 1A, leader 2B, be very specific. Then you can write out or type out the specific standard. So type it word for word. In this particular one, you can't really copy and paste because of the way it's on the website. But you could go to the original document in your on your desktop folder, and you could open it and you can copy and paste there. So at least 2 from the ISTE standards for students, and also 2 from the ISTE standard for educators. And you'll be putting those on your page here under the toolkit. This technology will accomplish the following ISTE standards. ISTE standards for educators, and then list 2 standards. So this is where you would list the 2 standards. and then ISTE standards for students. And this is where you would also list 2 standards. And that's it. You're done. You're done with the assignment. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. Make that a heading. And I'm going to make that a heading just so it pops a little bit. Okay, well, good luck. Don't forget to publish. And when you go to submit, make sure you're on the home page, because whichever page you're on, when you click the link to get the copy link, will take you to that page. So click the home page and then click to copy the link. Make sure you copy it, and then you will paste it into the Dropbox in Blackboard. So good luck, have fun, and let me know if you have any questions or concerns about this assignment.